Kyle's back, ladies and gentlemen!
And I'm glad to see nothing has changed in my absence.
Kyle doesn't know this, but there's been a running gag that goblins have had him for the past 6 weeks, all for a Goblin D's nuts joke at the end of it. That's literally the only reason I said it. Oh, it's a new season,
my
ladies and
God.
gentlemen. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to HGO Podcast. I'm Ethan, that's Hunter, and that's Kyle. How are you guys doing? You doing alright?
Hey.
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
New season, new rules, baby. We're not doing anything. I'm just saying it. Take it away, Hunter. Take it away, bad boy. Series 6. You've got used to it by now.
Yeah, alright. So, welcome back, Kyle.
Anyway, this is my show, and this is how I like to run it. You know, we run a tight ship here. Kyle's back, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle's back.
And I'm glad to see nothing has changed in my absence.
The goblins have set him free. Oh, Kyle doesn't know this, but there's been a running gag that goblins have had him for the past 6 weeks, all for a Goblin D's nuts joke at the end of it. That's literally the only reason I said it. Oh, it's a new season, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing, Kyle? It's been a while. You had a nice break. You feeling refreshed? You feel like you missed us? You missed Hunter?
Yeah, man. Yeah, things have been good. It has been a while, but it's nice to be back.
Oh yeah, it's good to have you back.
And I mean, like, I haven't been totally absent. If anyone in the audience cares, I have been posting articles to our website.
We have been telling them about that.
Some of them are fun.
Some of them aren't, apparently. Yeah.
There's 3 of them. I've enjoyed writing all of them, but no, recent one to go out was a big Chrono Trigger 30-year retrospective. I'm really proud of how that one turned out.
Oh yeah, it's some good stuff. It's some good stuff. But it's
Check
nice
it
to
out.
have you back.
A lot of work went into it.
Me and Hunter have been hating each other ever since. You know, we've just been bickering like an old married couple the entire time. So it's been it's nice to have you back to talk about Xenoblade, because this is a Xenoblade podcast now, by the way. Season 6, ladies and gentlemen. Cal's back for who knows how long until the goblins kidnap him again. Xenoblade, we're a Xenoblade podcast now. That's all we talk about for the 52 episodes. That's all we're doing.
I'm down.
And anything else? I don't know. Is there anything else that we need to do? There's not much has changed, really.
You guys did a Danganronpa character tier list. Let's bust one out for Xenoblade.
That's what we were testing the waters. We were testing the waters, and then we're like, hey, if Kyle ever comes back, maybe we can do this for Xenoblade and Persona. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see. It was pretty well received, so hopefully we'll dig
Persona
that one up
Social
again a
Link
little
one
bit.
would be fun.
Yeah, I think it would be great. You know, Persona's everywhere these days, and we don't have to worry about a new game in a while. Okay, so it's like we could crank that out. We could do that.
Yeah. What if Persona 6 just never happens? What if that's the end game here?
It just becomes the new Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
The old question mark.
I mean, I just think that at this point, you know, you've got a higher chance of Persona 5 getting a remake at this rate than Persona 6, so we'll see, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Recasting Persona 5 would not be fair. It'd be unfair specifically to whoever they recast Maruki for.
Yeah. Persona 4 recast is going to be interesting as well. What, like, you know, some iconic voice actors there, so that'll be interesting.
I hope they cast Alex Lee as Yosuke.
Alex Lee as Yosuke, yeah.
Keep the joke going. That'd be funny.
I agree. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Persona 4 rerun or whatever it'll be called. We'll see you in 3 months for that, Jeff. We're here to talk about everything Xenoblade and Assassin's Creed Shadows. I may have told a lie. We're not just a Xenoblade podcast. You've been clickbaited, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's the episode title, is we're a Xenoblade podcast now. Joke's on you. We are for 30 minutes at least.
We also talk about mid.
Hey, we haven't got there yet. We'll talk about you later.
It comes with the territory of Xenoblade.
Oh, wow. Anyway, let's just dive straight into it, I guess. First topic of the show. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. It's what got Kyle out of his grave. He heard the he heard the call of the Xenoblade soundtrack and was like, "Oh, it's my time to shine again. Here we go. The tunes are back, ladies and gentlemen. The tunes are back."
Well, if I didn't come back voluntarily, I feel like Ethan would have dragged me kicking and screaming. So
You're on the I was like, you guys haven't seen it. I've already made the thumbnail for this, and it's obviously you're on the thumbnail. It's you in your Terry outfit, but I've scratched the Fatal Fury out of it and just put a massive Xenoblade X on it. I'm like, I'm dragging that fucker back. He doesn't know it. He's coming back.
wait, that's
Podcast
awesome.
is back. I don't care.
I'm glad.
Ugh.
I'm glad that me dressed as Terry is the only picture you have of me.
Well, I was like, it'll do.
Well, he wasn't gonna just
It
stamp
Gets
an
the-
X
it
on
gets
your
the point
forehead.
across.
Yeah, it's another HGO classic, dude. It's a HGO classic. But yeah,
Oh, the hat is
Xenoblade
still,
X.
it's still back there, dude. It's
It's
still
still
on the
there.
shelf.
Let's Photoshop it again. No, I do not. I've spent 12 hours getting this new season ready. I do not have time to do that for this but edit. I'm sorry. Xenoblade X, Kyle. It's here.
Hi.
The impossible port. The port that we never thought would ever happen. The last Wii U port that anybody gives a crap about is here, ladies and gentlemen.
The last meaningful one, yeah. Sorry, all 3 Star Fox Zero fans.
Yeah, and all -5 Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival fans, you know, that's pretty wild. So yeah, obviously it's here. It's out now on Nintendo Switch. If you're unaware, I bought it, but I haven't played it yet because I had to dedicate 2 games out. I had to pick the other one because I knew that Kyle would probably be picking up Xenoblade. Shocker. But you nearly didn't get it. That's the thing I want to start with. Is Nintendo screwed you over? You nearly didn't get it. We were
Yeah.
going to be a Xenoblade hate podcast. I was like, that was the goal. I was like, I didn't send it to Hunter, but I was like, if he doesn't get it, I think it'd be really funny if we just talk shit for the
We just
first half an hour. Yeah.
drag the game. Yeah.
We hate Xenoblade now. Same thumbnail. X just means bad. We don't like it. So yeah, you didn't get the game.
No. Yeah, I pre-ordered my copy back in January, right when the pre-orders went up, because, I love the series and I wanted to get it as soon as possible, not have to worry about going to my local GameStop, seeing if they even flipping the coin if they even had any in stock or not. So I don't get an email from Nintendo that it's been shipped until I think it was Thursday, release day. So I'm like, oh, hey, I sent you guys the message where I'm like, hey, I just got my email. It says it's coming in Monday, the 24th. I don't know if this is coming.
To be fair, I ordered mine with Amazon, I think, because I got a voucher, and I was like, cool, I'll use it on that. Sounds like a plan. But Amazon literally were also chronic. They didn't send me an email that they'd even dispatched it. It just showed up. It was like, out for delivery, it's here. I'm like, that's great. Thank you for that. But my God, do you live in like the middle of nowhere? Because like,
yeah, pretty much.
Because that's what I get is like Hunter. I feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 in the middle of the snow, like, that first chapter, and they're just like stuck in that isolated cabin in the woods. That's where I feel like Kyle is, like an isolated in the middle of the woods, because every game that he ever orders is like, it's like a coin flip if it even shows up within a week of release. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I give Crash 4 showing up a week late a pass, because that was like at towards the tail end of lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's understandable.
Everything else, I feel like, with the amount of games that you've had, like if I was in your position, I would have been one of those digital truthers, dude. I would have swapped, and I'd be like, no, I don't trust anybody anymore. Just let me, like, I don't care.
Then what goes in the background of my camera?
True. What else?
What
Those
else?
are all copies of Xenoblade, by the way. There's not a single other game there. It's just 12
Even those
copies of
PS4 and PS5 games.
Takahashi works in mysterious ways now.
But anyways,
So, yeah.
I did end up getting my copy on Friday.
Thank God.
So,
We nearly didn't have a podcast.
bless him.
Hunter and I were sitting there going, damn, he's not going to be back for another year. Dude, we're screwed. Like, where's he? Like... So yeah, how much have you played?
A lot. Before coming on, I just finished chapter 5 of... On the Wii U, it was a 12-chapter game.
Mm-hmm.
Switch version added in, like, an epilogue.
13,
So, I don't
lucky number. But yeah, it's weird because it's like the extra content that they've done for the past game. So you've got Torna, you've got Future Redeemed, you've even got Future Connected. We're all obviously some of them are standalone and purchasable, but all separate. You could access it from the main menu. Different this time. They have just added an extra chapter to the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, like you say, bit of an epilogue.
Weird, but I'm not going to complain. Like, because it's been a few years since I've played X. I think the last time I played it was in 2021. I talked about it on the show when I finally got around to beating it. So,
we've been doing it that long. I couldn't even give you a rough episode number anymore. I'm like, what? I don't even. 2021. That's season 2, maybe.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
remember. Something like that. It's been a long time. It's one of those weird ones where it's like I bought Xenoblade X for Wii U like around that time probably, and I was like, get to you one day, and now it's like it's been ported to Switch, and I'm like, thank God. I don't even know if my Wii U works anymore, so it's like thank God. Like actual
Mine doesn't.
Does it not? Did yours actually die? Oh.
Mine's so. Here's what happens. My Wii U powers on. It does not boot to the home menu though.
Like
so
two
it's just...
computers ago, I had that problem with it would like turn on, but it would never boot up. Yeah.
As it turns out, like I just have like one of those Wii U's. I did a lot of research on this, trying to see if this was something I could troubleshoot. No, I need to replace the whole motherboard. I have it's a failed motherboard from the Wii U just not being used in a while. So,
it's just funny because with the Wii U, that's like the most likely thing to happen because there's like 3 games for it. So it's like oh yeah, if you don't turn your Wii U on in a while, it'll just die, and it's just like, well, half of them are dead, and there was only 12 of them in the first place. So it's like, there you go. Guess there's 6 left. But I don't know. I've been wanting this. I might have wanted it a little bit sooner than on death's door of the Switch, if I'm honest with you. But it's here, and it's here regardless. How are you finding it, Kyle? How's the port?
I really love this game. This game's so freaking good, dude. Everything looks so pretty. The graphics have been enhanced to be in the same style as the other 3 games. And it really just feels good to have the whole quartet now available on one console.
It's very rare for you to actually get that. Now,
especially nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone was like, oh, they've done pretty good with 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, yeah, X would be the, the icing on the cake.
That was the dream, yeah.
Yeah, it was the dream. I don't know how many bullshit stories I heard about, oh, it can't be done. Too technical, too hard, too wired to the Wii U. And it's like, obviously,
we can't take the mini map and put it in a menu. We cannot do that, dude. It's impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah. That always felt real silly, especially when they have like a few years ago with they managed to unmotion control Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
I feel like you could do just about anything.
I will say this about the game though. I do miss the convenience of just being able to look down at a gamepad and fast travel and look at anything on your map right then and there.
Yeah, but the controller you're holding in your hands now is so much better.
Yeah, it's a fair trade, but I do miss the convenience.
So for anybody that was obviously not on the Wii U hype train, so basically everybody, and doesn't know what Xenoblade Chronicles X is, obviously, give people a rundown. What is Xenoblade Chronicles X? What makes it so different from the rest of the Xenoblade trilogy?
Yeah, so X is it's disconnected from the rest of the trilogy. It's doing its own separate side story where basically the setup is that in the year 2054 the Earth ends up getting destroyed by aliens, and a group of Earthlings end up evacuating on a ship, and they end up crash landing on a distant alien planet that they call Mira. So their whole goal is setting up a whole new life on a new planet and trying to find what's called the Life Hold, which has all of the Earth's information stored in it.
Cool.
And that's the general gist.
and it's more. I don't know. People always suggest is more MMO like in its gameplay structures instead of it's more gameplay oriented than Xenoblade 1 through 3. Obviously, those are depending on how you like those games. Either they're a really fun gameplay experience, or there's something getting in the way of a narrative if you're Hunter, where it's like
Yeah.
So
three's gameplay is okay.
hell yeah, but so for X, it is more of a gameplay first kind of experience, right? You're there for the mecha, you're there for the mechanics.
It is, yeah. Focuses the story, like the main story itself is really just like a set piece. It's not the forefront like it is for the other 3 mainline Xenoblade games. It focuses a lot of like the story stuff is more character centric, doing side quests and things like that, getting to learn about what all your teammates were like before they ended up having to evacuate Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Then gameplay wise itself, the game is a lot more open world focused than the other 3 games are. A lot more open world exploration oriented, especially.
It's interesting, right? Because it's like it's incredible to me how this game even ran on Wii U, because it's like the map is ridiculously massive. It's one of the biggest open worlds in video games. Fun fact, it's bigger than
Breath of the Wild's open
world.
Oh yeah,
it's something. I can't remember what the stat is. Is it something ridiculous? Like it's 10 Skyrims or something like that. It's like it's ridiculously huge. Like it's ridiculously huge. Like I think it's up there with like Assassin's Creed Valhalla as one of the biggest open world maps of all time, and I can guarantee it'll be better than that one, because that one is the worst open world I've ever experienced in my life. But for big mechas, you need a big world, dude. You need a big world to explore.
And I think what really helps this open world in particular is that the map doesn't feel that big. Like it feels like you can, especially once you get the Skell, it feels like you can get anywhere in just a few minutes from running or driving your Skell car. And it also helps that it doesn't have the usual open world stuff that you see nowadays. Like there's no like, oh, you can only climb this terrain or whatever. There's none of that. You're free to you've got your character jumps super duper high with a running jump. So you can basically like platform on any terrain you want, finding a bunch of specific.
You don't need a specific ability to do that.
Nah, dude, you're
just
built that way.
Too.
Yeah, you're just built that way. You can so you can find a bunch of cool sequence breaks through like rock wall climbing. If you can find the right terrain, you can basically get around anywhere. And the biggest thing for me, there is no fall damage in this video game. You can leap off of any cliff to just get your way down somewhere you need to be. You don't need to waste your time finding the safe way to go around. You can just cliff dive off of anything and you're good.
That's nice. Fall damage is stupid.
Fall damage is stupid. There's no stamina
weird how they brought
meter,
it back for Xenoblade 2 and 3, isn't it? It's like, yeah, like make Moradane a lot more tolerable, isn't it?
Make sense is that because you regen your health when you're not in combat anyway. What's the point of making fall damage?
Yeah, fall damage stinks.
So it's because you're gonna skip that awful like machine section, dude. They're like, hang on, they'll skip the shitty gameplay in Chapter 3 if we have fall damage disabled. So like, yeah, can't do
literally
that.
the goal of the whole game when I was playing. Yes.
True. But obviously, like you said, Kyle, the whole kind of the poster child of this video game is the Skell. It's the big mecha, right? This is your mecha anime fantasy come to life in video game form. And I think that's like the main draw to this game is people love these fucking Skells, dude. Like people really love flying around and just, beating the crap out of stuff.
It's really cool, dude.
Yeah,
5 chapters in, I still haven't unlocked it yet, though. So
that's the one thing I did want to bring
Yeah.
up is they don't give it to you
It
for
does take a while.
Yeah.
I remember back when in 2014 when the Wii U version of this came out, Zero Punctuation had a review for it. And through the whole review, he was just like, "Okay, game, when do you give me my giant robot?" He played far enough into the game to get the robot, though, so good job, Yahtzee.
That's more than he usually does for a JRPG, to be fair. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like you said, I'm sure there are a bunch of different additions to this, like, you know, quality of life tweaks and stuff like that. One of them is obviously improved visuals and performance, hopefully, is more solid. Are there other like little tweaks to make things a little bit less infuriating?
Yes. Doing quests is a lot more simplified. If you remember from Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition and Xenoblade 3, whenever you had like find this amount of material, it would mark it on your minimap where it was. That's back in this game. Makes
Shout out to
any of
Xenoblade 2.
those...
Odd one out now. Odd one out on the Switch now. That little bastard is. The amount of times I actually Google it. Where's this wood? Where is it?
Yeah. Ugh. So it's just quality of life stuff to, you know, keep you in the game and keep it from being keep a Wikipedia page opened up on a monitor game. But yeah, that's the biggest one. You can also have like multiple different types of quests running at the same time, so you can thumb through all of them, see what you need to get for all those. I haven't really ran into a lot of the new stuff that they've added in, like the new characters and things like that. I've met one of them, but I haven't met the Erica Lindbeck character.
Oh, classic. They're doing true JRPG now. They're like, okay, what did we miss the first time round? I guess we missed Erica Lindbeck. Let's chuck her back in. Yeah.
The price of releasing in 2014.
They genuinely were like, well, this is the only chance we have to bring American voice actors in usually, other than Blade. So it's like, okay, best chance. Let's just chuck her in now. Let's just get her in there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, even, and you said it, Hunter, even though this was 2014 release, the voice cast was still super stacked back then.
Robbie Damon's one of the protagonist voices.
Yeah, Robbie Damon, Yuri Lowenthal, Christina V, Kira Buckland were all creative character voices. Matt
Adam
Mercer's
Howden
in the
was
game.
as well.
Yeah, him and Karina Reeves as Shulk and Fiora voices.
Everyone's favorites. Mine and Hunter's favorite characters. You know, we love Shulk and Fiora.
You could have made a Fiora that was actually interesting in this game.
Hunter, calm down. Don't anger the Xenoblade fans. We're already going to anger the Assassin's Creed fans in 20 minutes, so please calm down.
Half of the things I'm saying are very half-hearted statements, too. Like, I wouldn't even defend most of them. I'm just kind of poking these people.
Except for the skill requirements in Xenoblade 2. That is literal dog shit.
Yeah, that was
mechanics.
actually
Okay,
bad.
Actually bad.
Could have been handled a lot better.
But no, I think it's really good that this game has a second chance to live. Who knows? Maybe with the Switch 2 coming up in the next couple of months, maybe, I'm hoping that Nintendo has some of these little fancy patches, and maybe there was rumors in the source code that there's a 60 FPS. They were working on a 60 FPS thing for this game, so I'm like, my dream for the Switch 2 is they could literally release fuck all, but if Monolith was just like, all of our games have been upgraded slightly, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do. Like, give me the console. I don't care. Xenoblade 2 at not 240p. Give that over to me right now. But I think it's really cool that this game just gets a second chance to live, especially because, unlike a lot of Wii U games that have already made the jump, and a lot of them that were not necessarily that inventive, you had 3D World, which was very much based on 3D Land, you had your Mario Kart, you had, very kind of repetitive, by the books things. To have Xenoblade X and to be such a different game to the original Xenoblade in terms of, more of an open world structure, these massive mechas, more of a focus on this gameplay stuff, to have that kind of, to experiment a lot, and then to actually have that now find an audience that will probably appreciate it a lot more than it was appreciated back in 2014. It's kind of cool that it gets this chance. It's better than Luigi's Mansion 2. Like, I'll give him that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And Xenoblade 2 especially, or Xenoblade X when it released especially, I feel like it just was put out at an awkward time because there was so much involved with the game, but there were like no good resources online for how things worked until like 2017, 2018, when by that point the Wii U servers weren't shut off by then, but
no, it was like 20.
No, but the Switch was out and people weren't using
Yeah.
Wii U
that the
very
service
much.
did- I can't remember. Was it 2021? I feel like it was 2021, if I
I
remember
think
correctly.
so.
Something like that. But
yeah,
it sucks
I
when
think-
a JRPG has such a small audience. That's the problem. Is like, yeah, there was a lot of people that liked Xenoblade X, but there was like how many copies of that game realistically sell on Wii U? There's not that many of you, and most of them were probably in Japan. So it's like, I bet you a lot of it was rough translation work of people's work over there. Just like, okay, how do we get this to work?
Yeah. And it was also before Xenoblade was like big name, because I'm trying to remember the timeline right, but I don't think at this point Xenoblade Chronicles was on the Wii U's eShop yet.
No, that
Like
was
the virtual console. I think that was 15 or
2015?
16.
It was after, because it was after Smash.
Yeah.
They did it after Smash, so yeah, it would have been 2015. Yeah.
So at that point, you were still going off of, if you wanted to get Xenoblade Chronicles original, you'd still have to go through like secondhand sellers, which were not good back then.
If you're in
It's
Europe,
still-
it's full fine and dandy, but in America,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like a
if you're-
nightmare getting that game.
Over in the States, it was impossible since when Xenoblade Original released, GameStop was the only place that carried it, and they sold it for like $70 back then, when most Wii games were going for $50.
The
So-
original $70 price jump.
Yeah.
Nintendo's first $70 game, followed by Tears of the Kingdom just 15 years later, or whatever it was. It's crazy.
But no, I love this game Xenoblade X to death. I love it. I'm so glad it's gotten second life. If you missed it on the Wii U, definitely give it a shot here, especially if you like games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Xenoblade X was basically Monolith's testing ground for open world game design for when they eventually moved over to help with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. It's good to it feels like it's come full circle now. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like the Switch can die in peace now. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you know, Xenoblade X
Not
got
till
a
it
port.
gets Woolly World.
No, true. That's the Switch 2 game. April 2nd, ladies and gentlemen. Woolly World 4K. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. Peak cinema incoming. But now, like I say, I'm shocked. Cal recommending a Xenoblade game. Who would have thunk it, Hunter? Who would have thunk it?
Hey, don't think about it like that. Think about it. Kyle recommends an open world game.
That is the true
That is,
shock.
that is, yeah. Get the holy water out. That's a rare occurrence. That is, ladies and gentlemen.
An open world game where the story is in side quests.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess do we have to move on? Do we have to?
I mean,
I can just change my
probably
camera over
should.
to Xenoblade X feed, and I can just play that for a half an hour.
As much as I'd love to, Hunter, unfortunately, I can't write this off on my taxes if I don't talk about it. Am I right, fellow gamers?
Yeah.
That's how this works, right? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Like, comment, and subscribe, thanks. Assassin's Creed Shadows is what I've been playing. A game embroiled in controversy for such reasons as women. And a black samurai who's from actual history. Wow, what a shocker. The internet's aflame. And poor Ubisoft, only 2 million people bought the game in 48 hours. They did it. The woke mob
Pathetic.
annihilated the game. They destroyed it. What a success once again, dude. What a success once again. The Twitter demons at it
Great
again.
boycott, everyone.
Another successful W. Quite possibly. I think Ubisoft has said that it's it's doing better than Origins and Odyssey from launch already. So it's already beaten those two in their launch. So obviously they're doing fine. Metacritic and Twitter be damned. Everything seems to be going at least all right enough for them. Let's see in 6 months how Ubisoft's doing. But, you know, I'd like to at least see Hexay Hunter. I'd like to see that game.
Dude, that's
one
really
day.
all I want is they can burn down. Just give me the witch game first.
Yeah, exactly. But now I've been playing Shadows and I've actually done my homework this time, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? First impressions where you can play more than 90 minutes of the video game. That is correct. I've played about 10 hours of this game already. Thankfully, I got this game a day early. I'm just nailing that now. That's 2 for 2 Hunter now. I'm doing great in 2025. Both games early. I mean, Xenoblade didn't, but that's Amazon's fault. I even got this, whatever this is, this Steelbook. Wow. Don't you guys love Steelbooks? I hate these things. I do not care for Steelbooks.
It looks like
It actually looked kind of
looks
cool.
like it's the same.
It looks cool because you've got Naoe.
It looks like
who's
this
one of the
thing.
characters, and then you've got Yasuke, who is the other one, and there's
Also
a
has the same.
barcode.
It also has the
Yeah.
same kind of color scheme as SMT Nocturne's PS2 box art, the
Yeah.
black and red.
Don't get me wrong, it's a nice looking Steelbook. Steelbooks, I think I like them when they give them these separately, but then I also just stick them in a drawer and then never think about them again because I just don't like using them because the discs don't feel right. And this I just think is just weird OCD like brain problems that I have where I'm just like the disc doesn't feel right in a Steelbook is like the most awkward thing that you could say. But hey, I stand by it. So yeah, I played 10 hours of this game. It's Ubisoft's big swing, It's the game that I think a lot of people have waited a long time for, is the feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game. If this game would have come out 10 years ago, I would have been off my rocker. I'd be like, "Oh, this is the best day ever." We finally get.
They
Assassin's
sure
Creed
should have
Feudal
made
Japan.
it 10 years ago. It's true.
They sure should have. It's true. It's true. And yeah, so it's. Where do we start with this, Hunter? Where do we start? Do I need to do here's my history with this damn franchise? Is this where we need to go? What are we doing? Where are we starting?
I mean, yeah, that'd probably be the best thing. You're a sad, sad man who's played all of these games.
I've been there since day one. In my defense, right, is Assassin's Creed came out in 2007. I was 9 years old when this game came out. And I played it when I played it with my dad. My dad was playing it, and my dad was like, "Look, in the options menu, there's a setting where you can turn the blood off. So if you turn the blood off, we'll lie to your mum and say that you could. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this game. It's just there's no blood. What's wrong with that? So
He
turn
just
the blood
smacks them in the solar plexus and leaves them unconscious.
Yeah, it's fine. We're just jumping on them and giving them a big hug. It's fine. So I played the first Assassin's Creed in 2007, 9 years old, and I think it kind of, flicked a switch in my brain, the dopamine kind of hit, and it was right game, right time. I like this. This is good. And then when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, I still stand by Assassin's Creed 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time because it was, again, I was 11 years old when it came out, or 12, I can't remember. I loved it to death. I love Ezio Auditore as a character. He's one of my favorite characters in video games. It's one of my favorite stories. The fact that, we all joke about the Ubisoft formula, but Assassin's Creed 2...
It was built on Ezio's back, and sadly they never found a new person to stand it on.
But behind that open world and the very basic kind of gameplay structures, it's one of my favorite stories in video games. I absolutely adore Ezio's story. In all three of them, I think it's fantastic, but especially Assassin's Creed 2. It has one of my favorite... it has one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Ezio's Family, the main theme to Assassin's Creed. The main theme for Assassin's Creed as a franchise is called Ezio's Family because it was just supposed to be Ezio's theme. It's crazy how, looking back at it, that one game just launched this juggernaut of a franchise, and it just never has really peaked since again, really, which is crazy. But no, I've played every entry. I've been up and down with this on the roller coaster of, oh yeah, I like Ezio. Oh no, Assassin's Creed 3. Oh, Black Flag, that's pretty good. Oh, Unity, bit shit. Syndicate, bit better. Origins, oh fuck, RPG. Like, that's where the roller coaster kind of went. And
Ethan's been stuck in the desert watching tumbleweeds flow by ever since, really.
yeah, basically, right?
This man even got
And
the plat for Valhalla.
I played all of them, every mainline game, and even some of the spin-offs. I played Liberation. I never played any of the Chronicles games, but I've tried to play every mainline entry of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
You played Mirage.
I played Mirage. I got a review of Mirage up on the website. Spoiler alert, I didn't like it. But yeah, so I'm not a fan of the modern RPG Assassin's Creed games. They do nothing for me. It adds bloat to a franchise that I didn't think needed bloat. And they're the most boring open worlds to me. Like, I don't care about exploring. They are just tick box exercises where you check the box and you move on, and you don't really care. And the stories just don't really there's no vibes to these stories because they don't know where they want to live. Do they want to be living in this universe of, Abstergo having this technology to go back and relive the DNA, like memories of your ancestors for your DNA? Do we want to do that weird sci-fi twist? Do we want to ignore that and just be a historic simulator? And they just keep bouncing back and forward on that. And spoiler alert, they still haven't changed they've not made them fucking mind up on that either, because we're still sitting somewhere else now with Shadows. But didn't care for Origins that much. Liked Odyssey a bit more, mainly because Cassandra's a good protagonist. She's probably like one of the strongest in recent memory from Assassin's Creed. Then Valhalla is quite possibly my least favorite Assassin's Creed game. It is everything wrong with modern open world video games. It's too long, it's too bloated, it's too boring. Like, there is just nothing worth like appreciating in that game other than, again, Ivor was alright, but Assassin's Creed's always done good protagonists. That's the one thing in every Assassin's Creed game, even the bad ones. I was sitting there, literally, like, climbing up invisible trees that weren't there and phasing through the floor in Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm like, hey, I like Arno. Arno's cool. He's it's just they nail the protagonists each and every time with Assassin's Creed, and then that's all they've been doing. So, cautiously optimistic for this one. Mirage was a miss, but I'm cautiously optimistic for this one. And I don't know, with all this, discussions of, Ubisoft, they're in stormy waters. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if I was expecting different here, but I think the biggest compliment I can give it is, out of the first 10 hours, this is the most I've enjoyed one of these modern RPG Assassin's Creed games in the first 10 hours. What I can also say is, it is, for a fact, a modern-day Assassin's Creed RPG game. They have not deviated from that formula whatsoever. There is no difference here between this and any of the other Assassin's Creed RPGs since Origins. It is Origins 2. That is what I'm describing it as, is map size back down to Origins level. Gameplay mechanics back down to Origins level. They're not really kept, like, the idea of having enemies where it's like, this chip damage simulator of it taking 26 attacks doesn't really take that anymore. There's a parry, there's some good mechanics here where you can kind of, if you stab somebody a good couple of times, it kind of feels more, like you're doing damage to somebody instead of you just whacking a sword at them, and eventually they'll die because their HP gets to 0. But it's still the same thing. They've not learnt any fucking lessons. This is just modern day Assassin's Creed.
The next one.
Yeah. And I don't know if maybe I think this game I may have learned one thing I may have learned from this game is maybe I just don't vibe with feudal Japan or just historic Japan as a setting. Maybe I just don't vibe with this as a period that I thought I would. Maybe in my head as a kid I just thought ninjas and sneaking around in the dark on pagodas and stabbing people, and really it's just a lot of trees and just I'm just like, maybe I just don't vibe with the setting as much as I thought I would, which is interesting. I don't know. Do you have any questions, Hunter? I'm throwing it mainly to you because I know. Well, Kyle as well. If you have anything, feel free, because I know you were originally contemplating even picking this up at one point.
I thought that the setting might have been interesting. I don't know how do you feel the newcomer experience would be? Someone like
mean-
me, never touched an Assassin's Creed game, doesn't know what an Ezio is,
I mean,
never once used a hook blade.
well, let's it starts off with a Marvel cinematic intro of showing every single
epic.
showing every single assassin with the Assassin's Creed logo that comes up, and
Oh,
playing
baby,
Ezio's
look
one.
at all those hoods.
Yeah, basically, it's like, can you spot
Hey
which?
man, you guys remember when we did good stuff?
Yeah, it
that
starts
was
like
nice.
it starts with Ezio and it ends with Altair, and I'm like, and there's some people in the middle. I'm like, that's a weird, weird choice. And they're
I like
doing
how
that.
they apparently did it out of order too.
They know who's king, dude. They know who's king. But yeah, so when you start it up, first of all, they've got like this Animus hub or whatever, like they mentioned it, like the fucking stupid, like this is your home away from home, where you can choose between games, and I'm like, why? Why are we
Nothing
doing
in the
this?
world sounds worse than being trapped inside an Animus hub as a home away from home.
Yeah. So you can when you start, it shows it shows like the year on the timeline and shows the two protagonists, and it's like you can go here, and then if you mess with this, it's like it shows the other games from like the modern Assassin's Creed games, and then if you press X, it's like insert your disc, then you dumb fuck. I'm like, why is this here? Like, why are we wasting our time with this? This is just dumb.
So it's a launcher trapped inside the application for Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Yeah, it's like a launcher, but it's pointless because it's not a separate entity. It is just Assassin's Creed Shadow, so it's kind of pointless. Yeah,
Doesn't
It's a
make
pointless launcher.
sense.
But yeah, so it's like, in terms of a newcomer experience, it's not bad, Kyle. Like, you're not gonna miss anything because it doesn't. When I said that they bounce back and forward with this modern day setting and what's happening, and this game is basically doing nothing with it, where you're clearly in the Animus and there's somebody outside the Animus who's showing you these memories and going, these memories are corrupted, we need to blah 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 blah, doing the classic like shite, but they're just not doing anything with it. And some people have been like, scrap just have it be historical setting. To me, I just wish they'd try. Like, if you're gonna have it there, try. Like, give us a fucking go. Like, give it a go. Give us some.
Well, yeah,
mood.
they'd have to do something with it is the problem. Even when I played Black Flag last year, all of the modern day stuff and that was such a nothing that I wish it wasn't around.
Yeah.
Like.
But at
when
least
it
they
was
were trying there. It's not just somebody that breaks. Like,
I
just takes you
don't
onto a
know
memory and
about
goes,
that.
The data's corrupted. The data's corrupted. We need to go to this one. Like, it's just like you're playing as Billy. Who knows who you're playing at? You're just playing as an unknown entity. But so you don't have to worry about any backstory because it basically just kicks you straight into Assassin's Creed. So it's like, you don't have to worry about any of that. And
You
the
wouldn't
game
be
starts with
tired
a
of the
prologue.
formula yet.
The game starts with a prologue where you play as Yasuke, the samurai, for roughly about 10 minutes. And then it takes you over to Naue. And I've not stopped playing as Naue in the following 10 hours. So it gave you like a good taste of, here's his intro, here's a little bit more, and now follow the girl for 10 hours, please. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, it's
I
not just
think-
like choose your own path at the start.
Nope.
That's
You play as both of
different.
them, and they both have separate missions and stuff like that eventually.
Huh.
And I think the issue I have here with this is in concept, I like the idea. I think that really these games just need to focus on one character. Like, they really just need to focus on a character and go all in. Because what I'm getting from this is I like Naue as a character. I think she's fine. I think she's got, her personality is fun. The voice acting is a bit hit and miss here or there, but welcome to fucking Assassin's Creed. But overall, it's pretty solid. But it's like, I'm walking around the open world, and I find a cave or whatever that I need to go and explore, and I can't figure out how to do it. So then I look it up, because I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing here? And it's like, no, dum-dum. That's
And you
a
had the
Yasuke
Kool-Aid
thing.
Man.
You have to come back later with the samurai, because you can't do that. And I'm like, so why have it on my fucking map while I'm playing as the other one then? It's just like little bits and pieces where I'm just like, let me at least choose. Let me do everything, and there be, a bit of Breath of the Wild logic here, Hunter, have there be a shinobi way of dealing with situations and
Yeah.
a samurai way of dealing with situations. Let me choose the playstyle. I'm not 100%, I'm not the biggest fan of Ghost of Tsushima, but what I do appreciate is the game does let you You know, do you want to walk that samurai path, or do you want to go and sneak around and stab people? It's not going to stop you from doing one of those. It's not saying which one. Oh, sorry, you're locked in ghost mode, so you can only do that. You can only go around and stab people. That's what this game basically does. It's like, oh, there's little bits on the map. Oh yeah, only Asuke can do that. Sorry, you know. And
You're not
currently you're
big
stuck
enough
as
to
now.
Kool-Aid Man crash through the walls.
It literally it is like, oh, there's
No
an
one else
explosive
can
part.
figure this
Yeah.
one out.
It's like there's an explosive jar, and it's like, oh, sorry, you're a woman, you can't lift that. I'm like, this is stupid. Let me lift the pot. Like, come on, let me kick it or something. My God, this is dumb. But yeah, it's like, I just wish they'd focus on one, because I wasn't ever screaming. I was like, oh, I wish I had two characters that were completely different playstyles in Assassin's Creed. No, I just like both playstyles, please. Let me just be both. From a narrative, it seems interesting enough. The story of Yasuke is an interesting kind of story. He was originally a slave to Spanish traders who a lord kind of took interest in because they'd never seen a black guy before. So they were like, hey, this guy seems pretty chill. Do you want to come and be a samurai? And he's like, hell yeah, get me away from these Spanish bastards. Get me away from them.
Thank you, Nobunaga.
Yeah, and he basically becomes his right-hand man. And the story basically revolves around the fact that Naoe was part of a clan who was unfortunately, you know, absolutely obliterated by Nobunaga. So it's like they're both on opposite sides, and I'm sure there's going to be a point where they come together and realize, actually, this person's an asshole, and they both both come to the same side in agreement on whatever. But basically, that's the juxtaposition: is they're both on two different sides of one of the many internal Japanese conflicts of the 1400s. And 1478, I think it is. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so you're playing as Naoe, and Naoe's a ninja. She's a shinobi. You're kind of just like running around doing ninja stuff. There's some really cool mechanics that they've added, which I really appreciate. Nighttime, you can actually do some cool stealth. You can knock lanterns out and you're completely blind. Like, people can't see you in the darkness, so you can actually just sneak around and actually do some cool stealth. Knock
That's
lanterns
cool.
over, destroy light sources. You've now got new areas to maneuver and run around.
It took them 10 years, but they caught up to Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, basically. And for the most part, there are still stupid, like, you know, for the most part, most assassinations are one-hit kills again. There's still, you know, the stupid fucking big boys who apparently can survive a fucking knife through the heart. But, you know, other than them, everybody else is totally fine.
I saw the funniest.
Unless they're
clip the other
asleep.
day.
Unless they're asleep. If they're asleep and you stab them, sometimes they'll just go back to sleep and re-alive themselves. I had that happen. I've got it on recorded footage. I
saw
stabbed the
the
guy, he
funniest
went back to
clip
sleep. I stabbed the guy, I
yesterday.
went back to sleep. I stabbed him again. He stood up, screamed at me, and then just died. I was like, excellent, cool. Third time's the charm.
Like an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah. But for the most part, you can tell that they obviously did have some influence from Ghost of Tsushima. For example, when you do viewpoints, it doesn't tell you what's on the map. It just goes, oh, there's something over here. There's a question mark on your map. So you have to walk to the fucking thing to then find out, oh, it's something I can't do. Great. Thank you, Assassin's Creed.
Bonk, come back with Yasuke.
But yeah, so for the most part, it's interesting because they are taking a couple of deviations here from the formula. So like I say, from an exploration point of view, they're not trying to tell you as much. From a main quest perspective, you've got, very similar to all the other modern Assassin's Creed RPGs, you have got a group of 12 samurai who did something in the story, which I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, because it happens in the first fucking hour, but I won't say it just in case. But, you know, there's like these 12 people that you have to kill. And if you've played any modern Assassin's Creed game, spoiler alert, those are the 12 Templars that you're going to have to kill, because all of them follow this exact same formula, where all of a sudden you press the touchpad and it opens an objective page with a big circle with a load of people in it. And I'm like, oh, good. Again, not deviating from this formula in the slightest. Great. Thank you, Ubisoft. Appreciate it. But what they do, which I think is interesting, is they give you multiple options. You can choose which way you want to, you can choose which order you want to attack these people in. You can do them in any order. And when you choose a quest, it doesn't necessarily give you just a go here. It's, oh, they've been rumored to be around here. So you have to actually interact with the environment a little bit. Like, come on, it's baby's first exploration, okay? Like, you don't have to actually try really hard. And there's a button where you can send scouts that will just tell you where the thing is if you don't want to actually have a thought. You can just do that instead. But they are really trying to make it feel like you're exploring the world a little bit more, which is, I think is fair enough. One of my issues though is this isn't Breath of the Wild. You can't climb up everything. It's very much you slide down hills if you're not, because it's too steep, so you just fucking slide down and you lose all your progress. You can only climb something if it looks like it can be climbed. We're not Final Fantasy VII Rebirth levels of only the yellow stones you may climb. But, it's to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, sorry, you can't climb up that hill because it's too steep for you. Why don't you try the wall that's vertical? Like this is stupid. Like, why are we doing this? This is dumb. The other problem with the world is, obviously, Japan, very hilly, very, dense with foliage. So you just, this game's beautiful, but I'm just there's trees all in my fucking face. I'm sliding down this hill. I can't see a fucking thing. And I'm just viewpoint in 300 meters. Oh, cool. I'll just head that way then. Nah, fucker. Big ass fucking hill in the way. You can't do that. Why don't you go on your horse and follow the fucking path? And I'm so there's no real freedom of movement here. Because it's everywhere's dense and you can't fucking move through it. So it's you know what I mean? You can cut. There's some cool, collision mechanics where if you start slicing bamboo and trees, it'll cut in the way that your blade's cutting it. There's some cool interactions there. But I'm also sitting there going, I'm trying, you go in the Ubisoft mindset, you see all the shinies on the map and you're like, go to that one, go to that one, go to that one. But I'm not. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I've got to go to that thing over there in the northeast, but I'm going to have to go round this whole fucking mountain to get there because I can't climb up it normally. Which, didn't have that issue with Ghost of Tsushima because it's all mainly plains. So it's like, oh, that's nice. You can actually do it. It feels weird in the fact that it's it feels like they very much made a modern Assassin's Creed and they're trying to bring it back ever so slightly, but it all feels for naught. They've brought back fucking Eagle Vision, which has been gone for years now, since I think Syndicate was the last game that probably had it other than Mirage, but because back, I don't know how much you remember, Hunter, but they made an actual eagle. You pressed a button and you took an eagle's view of the situation and you flew an eagle around the map and you could target things with the eagle. And then in Odyssey, they did the same thing. And in Valhalla, they did the same thing, but I think it's a raven in Valhalla. They just changed they disguised the camouflage, basically.
Yes. With the people.
It kind of made sense in Origins, in ancient, in ancient Egypt with the eagle and stuff like that. It made kind of sense. Then Odyssey, they were stretching it, and then Valhalla, it's like, okay.
I don't know. Zeus oftentimes appeared as an eagle, so I guess that tracks.
Yeah. But, so that's not in this game. They brought back Eagle Vision. The only problem is they built these massive bases like in the old Assassin's Creeds, and when you press L2, you just kind of look around and you can see little shiny dots on the map so you can find it. And I'm just sitting there going, this feels like it was made for the fucking eagle. Give me my eagle back. I'm I'm just sitting there going, I need that bird's eye view. It feels fucking clunky. It's just they've taken something out because obviously people were sick of it. I'm fair enough, but you've almost built the game with that still being in mind and then took it out in post. Yeah. It feels bizarre where it's you built the game on the same principles as the other RPGs and took out mechanics that were in those. And it's that feels weird and a bit pointless. It's just, they just all the narrative's interesting. I'm liking the story enough. I think there's some interesting characters. Like I say, I like Naoe. She's probably one of the younger protagonists in the Assassin's Creed games, as far as I'm aware. She's pretty young. She's 18, I think. So she's one of the youngest, which is interesting because it's nice to have. I think the was Ezio, because Ezio
Ezio was really young when you first started his story, but it tracks through all of the years of his life, basically. So
Yeah, whereas I think this one's only like 5, whereas yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 is over like 12 or 14 years or something ridiculous like that. But it's nice to have that perspective again of just like having somebody who is, you know, it's very clear that her family has ties to the assassins. We're back in Assassin's Creed territory, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the past couple of games, no such thing as the assassins. They're the hidden ones, and they don't really exist. And it's like clearly because we keep setting games before the Templar Order and all that jazz. You know, the Crusades, so we can't call them assassins. So we're non-assassins that started in Egypt for some reason. Yeah, just random shit. Can you tell I hate modern Assassin's Creed? Anyway. But yeah, it's nice to just have assassins back. That's what I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, she's very clearly tied to the assassins. That's fun. I like having assassins back. It's been nearly a decade. That's nice. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. But I'm just sitting there going, I'm having a good enough time. Like I said, it's most fun I've had in a modern Assassin's Creed game because I like the story and I like the characters. But it still feels like a Ubisoft game in all the bad ways. The facial animations are absolute dog shit. They look like they're from the early PS4. The gameplay mechanics, we're still there, where it's like, we're still doing those fucking missions. Go over there, pick something up, go to the next marker, kill the guy, go back, report in, like, you know.
Follow this guy. Make sure he doesn't see you.
Yeah,
Eavesdrop on them.
The only good thing that I can say that I was like, oh, you know what, foot for that is they finally added, you know, you can finally press hold X and it automatically follows the person that you're talking to next to you. Thank fuck for that. Like, I'm just sitting there going, oh, thank God. I don't have to sit there just holding forward and waiting for death. I can just press X and walk away. Like, genuinely, just like...
Chase this guy down. Veer to the right a little too much. Run up wall and kick back the other way. Desynchronize.
The horse still feels like it's... The horse still feels like it's out of a PS3 game. There's all sorts of stuff. It's still got the gear system from The Witcher and fucking God of War. It's still got all these things where I'm just sitting there and I'm going, can we just make an old Assassin's Creed game, please? And not a remake. I know we're getting a Black Flag remake. I'm scared they're going to fucking RPG it, Hunter. I'm terrified.
Dude, if they do that, I'll be real upset. Because, like... I don't think you can make the water in that game any better anyway, so, like, what's the point?
Yeah. And the facial animations haven't got much better either.
Conundrum.
Like, my God.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I think if you like Assassin's Creed in its modern iteration, you will like this game enough. You may be... If you're burnt out on Assassin's Creed, if you're burnt out on Ubisoft, this is not going to do anything for you. It just isn't. It's the same game. The only... real saving grace is it's a lot less of a game. It isn't as intimidating as Valhalla. It is not an 150-hour game. Saying that, it's still close to like 40 or 50. It's still like a long it's a long RPG still, because that's what these games are.
How long was Mirage in comparison?
Like 10 hours, because it's more based on like the classic formula. But even by that game's standards, that game did such a mediocre job of telling a narrative and bashing in old mechanics into the new engine, where it was like, oh yeah, no level system or no armor, but we still got the new modern day combat system, so it feels clunky and gross. It's just like, it was such a halfway house that I will never recommend Mirage. If you want to play an old classic Assassin's Creed game, like, oh, I want to get into Assassin's Creed, but I don't want to play the older RPGs, I'm like, good news. They did a collection of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. Pick that up.
They gave you the best ones. They're available still. Play those.
Like, and if... I guess... I haven't finished it yet, and the story could take a massive nosedive, which I'm expecting it to do, because it's an Assassin's Creed game. But I'm sitting there going, this is fine, and out of the 4 modern RPGs, this and Odyssey are the 2 that I'd recommend. Based on what do you prefer as a setting, right? And, you know, my first thing would be, do you prefer ancient Greece or do you prefer feudal Japan as a setting? And if somebody says feudal Japan, I'm just like, just checking, did you play Ghost of Tsushima? Did you? Because, yeah, I hate to make that comparison because they're fundamentally different in terms of the way they go about their narrative and the way they go about their open worlds. But at the same time, I feel like you'd get more out of Ghost of Tsushima if you wanted that kind of experience, other than I want to see what Assassin's Creed is about. Like, you know, like that's about it, really. I think it's fine. I think it does the job. I'm not surprised it's doing all right. I don't understand the controversy surrounding it. I think both Yasuke and Naoe are interesting characters. I think that's a load of rubbish. It's fine. It's not. It's like I sit here and it very much reminds me of the Harry Potter debacle with Hogwarts Legacy, where I'm like, we're and it's for the opposite reason this time, right? And it's like, we're kicking up a fuss over something that is so average that why should we care? Like we're drumming up too much. Like there is too much passion going into this for something that isn't like worth it. If it's up your alley, go for it, play it, knock yourself out. But it's not worth all the energy. It just really isn't worth that energy. But you know, Hunter, I will finish it. I will probably platinum it, and I cannot wait if Ubisoft is still around to play the next one, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm on this ride until Ubisoft dies, damn it.
What if they start remaking games besides Black Flag? Like, what if they remake
2?
one of the well,
If
2
they
would be
remade
nice. I mean,
2
what if
would
they
be-
made? What if they remade 3? Would you still be on the hook for that, or would you
Yeah, probably.
choose not to?
Probably.
It's sunk cost fallacy at this point.
It's sunk cost fallacy because it's like, I think it's like, in my heart of hearts, it's like, I don't think Assassin's Creed will never be back to where I loved Assassin's Creed. Like, we're never going to go back there. We're past the point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to keep checking and, you know, get my fill of anger. Well, not anger, but indifference, right? Just like...
Disappointment.
Do I still like it? No. Do I still... We're running out of eras, though. That's the thing is. It's like, if you're like... I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's nowhere that I'm itching. Like, there's... Like, Feudal Japan was it. And it's like... The Witch Trials is really cool, and I think that's really interesting. And I think if it's not an RPG, I'll 100% be into it and vibe with that. But after that, I'm like... Where can we really go that would be super interesting? That
The Wild West.
Yeah, like...
Cowboy assassins.
I mean, that would be
surprise
funny.
me.
Well, it couldn't be any worse than 3, I don't think. Like, they, you know, 3 already capped out at 2-story high buildings with, you know, colonial America. So,
You know, it's like, I sit there and I'm like, what do we really have? And I'm like, a proper Assassin's Creed in China would be pretty cool. Like, that'd be a
that
good
would be
one.
cool. Not their silly phone, whatever it was.
Yeah, or the Chronicles games, like the smaller games. Like, an actual Assassin's Creed in China would be pretty cool. Or maybe somewhere else in Asia that hasn't really been, you know, explored more. Western Asia would be actually pretty interesting because usually Western Asia often gets overlooked. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, we've done most of Europe. Even if it's not been in a game based on like a native assassin in that region, it's like, you know, Ezio got around a lot in those games.
He did,
you know?
yeah.
And we've done France, we've done the UK. You know, I'm not sitting there like it's weird. Assassin's Creed is at that weird point where it's like, I don't know. Maybe I would prefer them to just start remaking the old ones and do it properly.
Considering Unity wasn't very good and they are a French company, you'd think that they might want to try France again sometime.
It's weird. It's a weird franchise, dude. It's weird, but I'm not enjoying it. I'm having enough. It's a podcast game, you know. It's a second screen game. It's, you know, I'm gonna run around the map while listening to some random video, or, you know, or while watching a stream or something like that. I'm not committing. This is what I was literally just watching a YouTube video, an interview or something about a TV show I was watching. And I was like, oh, story bit, and then just pause the fucking video and then watch the story cutscene and then resume straight away. Like, it's like, it's just what I'm doing. It's not captivating. I'm not sitting there going, oh, I can't wait to find out what happens to Naoe next. I'm just like, this is cool enough. There's some cool backstory moments. There's some cool stuff they're doing with the haptics on the PS5 if you're playing it on PS5.
Nice.
There's like when you do these meditations, there's like these gong sounds that are playing in the background every time you press one of the buttons, and you can feel it in the controller, and it's very weird because it's like
Oh,
it's
neat.
playing the sound through the speaker, but the vibrations add to it because obviously there's a vibration. Like if you've ever been in a room with a gong, ladies and gentlemen, you can kind of feel
Gongs
the vibrations.
vibrate, yeah.
They kind of reverberate into you. And you can feel that with the DualSense. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I like that. There's some cool mechanics that are going on there. The game's very pretty. I'm playing it on PS5 fucking Pro, and it looks nice, I guess.
Boo.
It's the first Assassin's Creed game that actually is just for PS5. Can you believe that? This is the first quote unquote next gen Assassin's Creed game 5 years into the life cycle. But hey, there you go. There's no step up from Unity. I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty. There's a load of plants everywhere. There was this one scene with a load of butterflies. I'm like, that's very pretty. Wow, that's nice. Anyway, back to my podcast. It's all right. You'll live, guys. You can if you want to play Assassin's Creed, knock yourself out. If you don't, you're not missing anything.
Yeah.
This will not be coming up in Game of the Year discussions. I'll tell you that much.
No. Ghost of Yote probably doesn't have any reason to sweat.
No. But yeah, there you go. Hunter, have you been up to anything?
So, because I didn't have a game to contribute as far as new releases this week, I decided to wind back the clock 5 years. Because, you know,
he made a trivia
the
game
podcast
for us, Ethan.
No, yeah, a surprise.
Next week.
Let's go for
Welcome
hour
back,
number
Kyle.
2. But, no. You see,
Hey, if that's what you want, I'll
podcast.
force him. I'll get him in the mines again. Hunter.
Yeah. I still
have no
have
power
one that's
over
lying
me.
around, not used yet. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
But no, you see, the podcast started with double billing of AC and Doom, so I went back and I played Doom Eternal again.
That is a stretch. That's a fucking stretch. Not even the right AC.
I know. It's,
Ugh.
but yeah, it was hilarious too because the dates matched up and everything. Like it went from 3:20 at this hour was the last save for one chapter to 3:20 at this hour in 2025 now for.
Well, that is how it works. We did take a week off, so we were back on close to anniversary date because we had dragged that far. Obviously, with the passage of time, we were like a week behind when our anniversary was now. So I was like, yeah, let's drag that back forward. There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, Doom. Still as good as I said it was back then. I think that it's nice to be reminded of how nice or how good this game was. Like, super fast, super frenetic the whole time. It's got the whole like cycle of doing damage if you need to get the health up, do the glory kills if you need armor, set the things on fire before you shoot them, and that'll spawn it. And if you're running out of ammo, hit those suckers with a chainsaw. It's a very self-feeding loop in the combat there that I feel like really doesn't get old for the duration of the time you're going, to throw enough variation with the enemies and all that. The only minor critique that I would say was, people have beef with the Marauder because of him switching up how you're supposed to approach him, because you can only hit him at a specific window of time, and you gotta like stick at the mid-range to be able to hurt him at all. And that's fine in isolation. When they make you fight him on his own the first time one of those guys shows up, that's fine. Him showing up with a crew of other people, on the other hand, I don't like that as much. It becomes way more annoying, where you're trying to not be harassed by him and also clear out fodder, because trying to focus on him while, you got random goon coming off the side.
Screaming on our end, by the way. Screaming on our end. No one is trying to scream at you.
Well, you got the random goon coming off the side to harass you is even more annoying. So Marauder doesn't play nice when he's with other people, but aside from that, only other enemy that I think is annoying was the Archvile, who revives and buffs people and teleports away from you when you try to hit him. But all the other things that were nice about the game are still great. Grappling hooking with the super shotgun into any manner of creature and watching them, fall apart as you shoot them is as satisfying as it's ever been. I cannot wait for Doom: The Dark Ages. That game we'll shred.
Yeah. It's weird that game's, again, it's not that far away. I was like, in my head, I'm like, it's why I'm excited about this Nintendo thing in like 2 weeks, because it's like, I feel like everybody has just like made an alliance where it's like, we're not telling anybody shit after June, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got like this hard cutoff at the moment, and they're just like, we hold for Switch 2, we hold for GTA, and it's just like,
and then the floodgates will burst.
Yeah, I want the floodgates to burst so badly, dude. I don't care if it's just fucking Luigi's Mansion 4, dude. I need something just to say there are games after Death Stranding, Kyle. There are games after Death Stranding.
Luigi's Mansion 4 and Star Fox 64 again.
I'll be really praying for those. I'll be really praying for those Monolith ports, dude. I'll be really praying at that
Star
point.
Fox 65.
Please. I need something. But Doom, yeah, I've been meaning to get to Doom and Doom Eternal at some point. I own both of them. I've owned both of them multiple times. I think I own them both on Steam and on PlayStation. I've been meaning to get to them, and I hope I get to them someday. But it's very I don't know, it's very difficult for me to get really interested in just a straight up shooter. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'd like it once I get into it, but just getting into it is like my problem right now.
Yeah. That's the one thing, and not that this would change your mind specifically about, but one thing I don't think I appreciated at the time was because no one actually plays these games really for the story. It's just kind of there. But it's well thought out lore as far as that's concerned, and Doom Eternal specifically, the writing is good for what's there. Like the best line in the game is always going to be when you're looking for like the last demon priest or whatever who's been sequestered to this like the nether realm, and the only way to get there is through a gate that's somewhere in Mars. And so Doom guy starts looking up the orbital satellite cannon for the BFG or whatever because he's gonna shoot a hole in Mars, and the scientist guy that's helping you is like, you can't just shoot a hole in Mars. And then the objective comes up, shoot a hole in Mars. It's really well done that way. It's really
where he kills you.
Yeah, basically, there's a lot of well thought out stuff as far as if you want to read into it, but for what they present to you just on the screen is enough to make it compelling to, contextualize what you're doing, I would say.
Yeah. I'll get to it one day. Like I say, Doom Eternal's one that interests me the most because it's so fucking fast. Like whenever I see gameplay of it, it's just like grapple, slam, do all that shit. Which is like Doom: The Dark Ages. Everyone's like, "Oh, look how sick it is! You got a shield and stuff like that." I'm like, "That's cool and all," but I'm also of the school of thought in video games that grapple hook equals better. You know what I mean? Like that's my school of thought. Is Ethan like grapple hook? It good. Like I like that.
But the grapple hook isn't like a universal thing he's got. It's only on the one gun, and you'll be cycling. Yeah, you cycle through.
No, I wouldn't cycle through.
You grapple.
No, I understand that mentality because the super shotgun is my favorite weapon across all of them. But you can't just stick to one gun. The game doesn't let you.
No, I will stick to one gun. I do not. If it swaps the gun, I close the game. That is a threat.
That's funny, but. Yeah, like, I'm still super jazzed for Dark Ages. There's a gun that it turns skull shrapnel into projectiles. I can't wait to use that.
Yeah. It's only a couple of months away, Hunter. Less than 2, right? It's like 2 months away.
Middle of May, yeah.
Yeah, May 15th.
Plenty of stuff. Like that's why I feel like it's good, right? Well, that's why I'm excited and I'm starting to get into video games a little bit more right now. Is because obviously we've got the Switch stuff coming up. And then it's like, when we get to May, there's actual video games coming out again. That's where I'm like, oh, the drought is over a little bit. Thank God for that, because all it's just been is people screaming at each other on the internet for the past 2 months. It's like, it's about time that we actually had something to talk about.
Yeah, for my own personal interests, like basically from April forward, it's a game a month for until at least September, I think.
That's crazy. I'm just gonna play Death
And
Stranding.
And then no one's announcing anything for around then because they're afraid of Grand Theft Auto. But
That game isn't real. It can't hurt
yeah,
you.
that game's not real. I can't wait for it to be confirmed to not come out, and then everyone's gonna shotgun themselves.
I
to the same
feel-
day
And
at
then
the
5
end of
games will
October.
all release on the same day.
I feel
all
like
in
we're getting
all
to
at the end of
ultimatum now.
October.
Yeah.
We're getting close. We're getting close to the ultimatum now, where I'm like, I feel like by the end of May, they have to have announced either way. They have to either have announced that it's coming this year or it's not, because like they've just got to. They can't silk song this as much as they'd like to. They cannot silk song this. They can't just like exit the universe. They
It'd
just
be funny
can't.
if they did, though.
Yeah, it would. I'd laugh, but also,
GTA's a lot bigger than Hollow Knight is.
you wouldn't believe that from the internet sometimes, Kyle. Bloody hell. Rabid, dude, rabid. Anyway, I guess that's it. All good things, ladies and gentlemen, must come to an end. Not this podcast, though. Next topic is
Hunter, roll the game show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first 24-hour episode of HGO.
we're just gonna up front do all 52 episodes today, and then you guys.
And then we'll take a year off. We're just gonna be predicting what we feel about every one of the games that are releasing.
Oh, that's pretty easy.
So how did you
Give
guys
me-
feel about the Super Mario 64 remake?
Oh, I hated it, bro. I hated it.
Dude, same.
It's the same
No
fucking
Yoshi.
game.
0 out of
Turn
10.
it into a Ubisoft RPG. What's up with that, dude? Why the? Ugh, gross. But hey,
Why do Mario's
what
hats all
Assassin's
have
Creed-
individual stats?
That's what Assassin's Creed is missing. You need a game where you jump into paintings to enter different eras of time.
true. That's how the anime should. That's how the anime should. They'll just call them the paintings, and then we're good. We're fine. Just
The machine.
it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, it's been nice having you back, Cal. It's been nice
It
hearing
was
your
kinda
voice
good
again.
to
I
be
almost
back.
forgot. I forgot what you sounded like. But hey.
I love what you did with your room. It's very gamer.
Thanks. The thing gave up. The background gave up. It just says no signal now. The Xbox gave up. What the fuck? No wonder
Much
I never
like
used.
Xbox in the console market.
No
the
wonder I
Xbox game up.
I always fucking give up. Why the fuck's it giving up? You little shit. I swear to God, I'll smack it. Silly in a minute. Anyway. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, probably something Switch 2 related, because it'll be like 2 days before the big reveal, the big party where they announce nothing. That'll be funny, wouldn't it? That'll be great. But hey, we'll see what happens then. But yeah, I'll links. Did I do the links on screen? I don't know if I did the links on screen.
You didn't announce if you did.
No, I'll do them again. There you
Also,
go,
were
you
they
can
even
follow us.
working?
They are working. I just have to
Okay.
go and do a manual, force them onto the screen. As always, go check out the website if you haven't already, hotgamesonly.com. We've actually updated it now, so on the homepage, you get articles straight on your feed instead of having to go through and look at little boxes. It's all up there now, which is great. We also did a load of updates on the back end, so everything should be running a little bit smoother. There should be, all the links are now updated, everything's good. Blue Sky users, you are fine. You have got extra stuff now, so it's all good. We're fine. Other than that, though, keep an eye on the socials. We've got stuff coming out. We've got reviews coming out over the next couple of weeks as well. Split Fiction, hopefully this week. I just didn't have time. Work has been a bitch, so sorry about that. I'm going to blame Hunter. It was Hunter's fault. We didn't finish it in time. That's the real reason.
I
It's
knew
Hunter's
it.
fault. He wasn't gamer enough. He kept fucking being a
How
journalist,
dare
Kyle. He
you.
kept dying. He kept missing every jump. It was really infuriating. What
How
are you
dare you, guy who
I
didn't buy the
promise you,
game?
I promise you, it's not the journalist, it's genetic.
Maybe journalism is genetic. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Anyway, that's our show. Thank you ever so much for joining us for the start of a new season. It only goes down from here. Remember, the first episode, most energy you'll see all year, ladies and gentlemen. So keep that in mind. Anyway, we'll be back next week. Same time, same place next week, as always. But hey, until then, have an awesome week. Yeah, see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Doodaloo.